Hello foodies! Today I'm going to introduce you a very simple way of making a Chinese snack. It is going to be peanuts. So what you enjoy most of the time when you go to the supermarket is those are baked peanuts. And today we're going to do fried peanuts, but we're not going to use oil. We're going to use the oil that is inside the peanuts by itself, and we're going to use microwave. And all we need is a pound of raw peanuts like this, right? So this is a pound of raw peanuts. And we're going to use one plate. And finally, we're going to use some parchment paper. Okay, so what we have is I have a piece of parchment paper that I've cut to roughly the size of the plate. That it's a bit bigger than the plate. Okay, now to make it stay better, so what I like to do is I like to crumble it up a little bit. Okay, and then I will open it up, and look at that. Now it fits the bowl, the plate very nicely here. So that's the first step. Now, what we're gonna do before we put this one through, we want to clean it. Okay, so I'm just gonna use water to clean it a couple times. So all we're gonna do is just put this in the water, give it some rinse, right? And give it a good wash like this. And then we're gonna drain it. Okay, so you can see I have soaked this one for 10 minutes. The water is getting red because the color has come out from the peanuts to the water, but we don't need the water, okay? So I have a wok here that I put a piece of cloth here. You can use paper towel, this is just fine because I want to make sure that this is patted dry, right? So I'm just gonna put it here, right? Okay. So that's all the peanuts that I got from soaking with water. You don't want to soak it too long. You just want it 10 minutes to wet the skin because you want the shell to adhere to the peanuts. Okay, and now I'm just going to use this one to pat it dry. Right, I'm gonna go like this. Right, to make sure that it is somewhat dry. So now I'm gonna do my second step, which is to transfer all these peanuts onto this parchment paper here. So I'm ready to put it in the microwave. Now, I have not put any seasoning here. The seasoning will be put at the end of the cooking process. Okay. Got a few more here. Okay. And I just spread it open like this. Okay, so we got the peanuts over here, and we're just gonna pop into the microwave, and we are going to put it on high for 2.5 minutes. Now you notice that my microwave is 1100 watts, and if you have a lower wattage, then you just make sure that you do the multiplication and make sure that you have the same wattage. So I'm gonna do 230, 2.5 minutes, and start. Okay. So that is the first 2.5 minutes. You can see there's you can feel a lot of steaming here. So when you open up the microwave, don't close the door. Let it air out a little bit. And we're gonna follow this one. We're gonna come here. Now you can see it is a little bit dry here, right? You can see all the steam that's coming out. That's not enough. We wanna make sure that it has almost no steam. And I'm gonna just stir up the peanuts a little bit, change some positions. Okay, because we're gonna go back there and do another 2.5 minutes. Okay, in total, we're gonna do this process 2.5, so 2 times 2.5, and after that, we're gonna do in increments of 1 minute because you don't really want to overcook it, right? We want to do it when the oil from the peanuts started to cook itself. Okay, so that's why we don't need to add oil. We're gonna add it at the very end so that we can have the spice that can stick to the peanuts. Okay, so like that, and we're gonna go back for another 2.5 minutes. Okay, so this is the second 2.5 minutes. You can see there's a lot of steam in here. And then it's just gonna, again, don't close the door to the microwave and let it air. And now you can see that it is starting to get somewhat dry now, right? And that's exactly what we want, right? As it cooks further, oh, there is a mixture of a mung bean that we don't want that. As this one cooks further, you're gonna start hearing some crackling as it cooks itself in the microwave, and that's exactly what you want, right? And it's good to have some of this peanuts without skin, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna use that to gauge the cook readiness of the peanuts. As this one turns color, that's what we want to see. We're now going to go back to the microwave, and now we said we're going to do it at a 1 minute interval. Okay, just 1 minute. Okay, so this is the 1 minute mark of the first 1 minute. Now, what I notice is if you pull the paper here at the bottom, you can see some water, and that's when I want to transfer this one to a different plate because there's less water left at the bottom. Look at that, you can see a lot of water. Can you see that? You can see all the water there, right? So we don't want water. That's why I transfer to a different plate so that it will be dry at the bottom. And now I'm gonna reposition the peanuts again. Okay, once escape. Okay. And okay, now I'm gonna do another 1 minute. So we're gonna now stay on with this plate. We're gonna do approximately another 3 or 4 times of this 1 minute. Okay. Okay. Another minute. Okay, so I have been cooking this one for 6 1 minute intervals, and I have been switching plates in between the minutes, right? So 1 minute here, I switch plate, and usually you will see some water at the bottom. So I'm going to show you. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that I don't see any water here. So now I don't see any water here. I know this one is now almost ready. Okay, and what I'm going to do right now is to give it that deep fried flavor. I'm going to add about a tablespoon of oil. Okay. I'm just going to drizzle on this one. Okay. And I'm going to mix it up well. Right? I want to coat every peanut as much as possible. Okay. Now we can see that shininess on the shell of the peanut. That's what we are asking. That's what we're looking for. Okay. So. Okay, now this is ready like this. We're going to pop it into the microwave for a minute. Okay, 1 minute is up. And after this one, I'm going to give it another minute. And after that, you can see them. Look at that nice color you have on the peanuts right here. Look at that, very nice, right? So we observe this one, right? When this one becomes a little bit more yellowish, that's when we are going to stop. Okay, so after I added the oil, I have done 3 1 minute microwaving, and you can see that it is turning brown, turning color already, like that. It's not white anymore. It becomes a little bit yellowish, right? Like this one. Look at this, like that, right? So this is ready. So that's it. I don't want to cook it any further. Now, if you want, you can do 1 minute, right? So for me, this is good enough. And while this is still oily, that is when I'm gonna add salt. Okay, I'm gonna add some salt here, and I'm gonna give it a good stir. because with the oil, the salt can stick to the peanut. Otherwise, it won't stick to the peanut. Okay, right? Now, if you want to have other flavor, you can do garlic powder. You can add some paprika. You can add whatever spice you fancy, right? And this is it. And you can see the salt has stuck to the skin, right? You can see some of them here, and that's exactly what I want. All right. And if you don't feel that's enough, feel free to add more salt. Okay. And what I'm gonna do is to let this one cool naturally, and this, because it's very hot, it continues to cook and deep fry itself. Okay, and we are going to let it cool, and when it becomes cool, it's going to become crunchy and very tasty. And that's it. This is the Chinese deep fry peanut snack. You can just use the microwave. Easy peasy.